Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this stuff so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this stuff so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. No mistakes I'm gone, I won't do it no more. That's old news, that's new news. I've done it that before. I turn it into song.
Come on now. That old mindset is gone. We are thinking in a new way because we want to level up and we want huge success in 2022. So welcome to Take Center Stage. I am super excited to have with me. This is all things leadership development and organizational development. And I am here with CEO of R. Hughes and Associates. My girl, Robin, is in the house.
Good morning, everyone.
And we have CW, contributing writer Tiffany Williams in the house from Own It magazine. She is going to speak to us today about copyright and why it's important for business owners to understand why they need to be educated in copyright and they need to practice it. And also how organizations can benefit from it. So this month, we've been talking on the Own It platform about mindset. Having mindset, leadership style, how you think in your mind is how you're going to lead, and making the decision to start the year off right through open-mindedness. And so Robin she said to me a little earlier today, said she has some tips on how you can change your mindset or become more open-minded. You got your tips ready, Robin?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We said we were going to talk today about improving your open-mindedness. So you have to be open to change and be able to adapt in order for you to even think about that. But practice always, if you always are respectful, you practice self-reflection and make gratitude a habit, that will improve things for you right away. Because what are you doing? You're listening to people, you're taking other things into consideration, which plays a big part in that as well. And then always, again, here you see practice self-reflection. What did we talk about last week? We talked about self-awareness. So you have to go in again. We stress knowing yourself. So start doing these 3 things now to become more open-minded. Broaden your horizons. So, of course, we're people, creatures of habit, right? So what we're going to do is what we normally do. And what do you hear that old saying all the time? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, if you're not getting the results that you want, you don't keep doing the same thing. Right? Evidently, something is broken. You're not getting to where you need to get to. What do I always say? Stop leaving money on the table.
Yes, not in 2022. We need all our money.
You have to change the mindset. You have to broaden your horizons.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, in addition to that, you're going to seek out feedback and suggestions. Remember last week I said, you can't do it alone. You have to include your people that are in the trenches. Because what happens with that, you can improve there as well because you're getting their feedback. And they're subjected to things that you don't ever see because you're sitting behind the desk.
Right.
So if you include them, you can automatically start improving things. And that's part of improving your mindset as well, because now you're more open to listening to other people's feedback and suggestions.
Yeah. You don't want to have, it's two mindsets they speak to in regards to leadership. It's a fixed mindset. And a growth mindset. A fixed mindset says you have what you have, and that's it. You're good with that, right? And then it says how you look is more important. So your focus is on performance. And it says something you do when you're not good. It's about your effort. It's just like, listen, just like you said, you can't teach your old dog new tricks. You have a tendency to just lean back to what it is that you used to doing. You give in, you check out. That's a fixed mindset. And when you think about that, the opposite, when you have a growth mindset, the opposite of giving up, and that's one of the biggest things that we want to speak to in regards to getting your mind right for the year, because there are going to be challenges. There are going to be challenges. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be setup. There's going to be victory moments too. But we want to speak to the thing that is going to cause you to give up. And so the opposite, when you have a growth mindset, you persevere, you work through it, and you show more grit. You don't give up, cave in, and quit. And I've spoken to people, and this is not to discount that you don't go through a trial and it doesn't kind of stifle you. We all experience that. It's about how do we respond to that? How do we respond? The important thing for you and how you respond to that is how you value your results at the end. How are you going to value your results at the end? Are you going to be focused enough to really value what it is that you want to achieve and say, when you go through that moment, all about mindset, are you going to be the one who has a fixed mindset that gives up and quits? Or are you going to be the one who has a growth mind that says, hey, this is an opportunity for me to learn and change and grow, and I'm going to put in some more grit, right? I'm going to grind, I'm going to lean in and not give up. And so I'm going to kind of segue and shift the gear because some of these setups is not being properly prepared, right? Right? Copying, protecting our work. Because sometimes the setup that somebody stole your material, right? Somebody stole your material. Now you're like, what the heck? What, But if you work with Tiffany, Tiffany would show you how to protect your content. Correct, Tiffany?
Correct. So, protecting your content, that'll be with intellectual property. I mean, so what I do is I help people, as far as the setup, is making sure that your marketing plan, your copywriting is the biggest part of your marketing plan, marketing strategy. And so with that copywriting, you can't make any sales. So essentially, like I said, if you want to create sales, you want to engage customers, you want to reach your audience, you are going to need to invest, and you're going to need to truly strategically plan out your copy. So copywriting is anything from your websites, your emails, your blogs, all that writing that is in there, in that you are pretty much strategically trying to get to your audience so that they can buy your product or select your service, right? So that is what I do. Once it's obviously, out there on the web, you do have a digital footprint. As long as the website or whatever belongs to you, that protects you as far as, you're the owner of that copy. And a lot of times people think that when they hire a copywriter that, oh, I'm not going to own the work that the person does. No, you own it. I write it and I help you write it. You can either do a done for you process, which means that you don't have to get involved at all. It's written for you, it's delivered. Or I have another process that I do in my company, what is a done with you, meaning that as we're going through your project, I'm also teaching you how you can do this for yourself again, if you choose to, how you can learn the nuts and bolts and at least do the basic work of your own copy. So it depends on which track you would like to do. But like I said, as far as the copywriting, like I said, copy equals sales. So if you want to sell, if you want to scale and soar your business, you are going to have to invest in a copywriter.
That is very important for people to know. And you also spoke in regards to working with authors as well, correct?
Yes. So my niche is working with authors and wellness professionals specifically. And the reason why is because I am an author. So I know all the things that needs to be done when it comes to copywriting for your book, the back part of your book, your blurb that gets people to obviously take it to look into purchasing your book, your press release, your media kit. All these things are essentially copywriting as well, because you are the creator of your book. You're a creator of that information, your story, your personal story, or your nonfiction work, which you're developing your characters, but you are trying to get the reader to purchase that book for $10 or however much we sell it for. There is a different formula for copywriting that is different than creative writing.
Very good, very good. And I hope our audience can take advantage of working with you. You had some promotions going on, and you're also getting ready to do some open mic events. So share a little bit about what's coming up with Tiffany. Share a little bit about how you've had the mindset to think and project into 2022, and be strategic and intentional with your agenda for the year.
Yes. So mindset it's a critical thing. I was asked a question this year from my business coach. How much money do I want to make this year? Right. And as an author, you're thinking like, okay, well, I don't know, because it all depends on, how much I sell from this book or that book. But just putting that number out there and not being afraid to put that number out there and putting it down in my planner, my budget planner, which I have one, putting that in my Excel sheet and saying, this is what I'm attacking, and this is what I'm attacking per quarter, and getting that mindset to say, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to go get, right? Like Robin said, not leaving money on the table, because you leave it on the table, somebody else is going to come and get it. So with that being said, I had to start thinking about, okay, what type of stuff do I want to do in those months that are in that quarter? Okay, what holidays are surrounded by that? How can I sell merchandise? How can I make merchandise that surround my book? And then obviously, the holidays possibly as well. So how can I tie all that back into what is already going on anyway? And kind of reach more of my readership, my audience. So I have a new Facebook group that I'm growing now, which is awesome. If you want the information, I'll put it in the chat here. Marissa can put it up for you guys. And then the open mic, the virtual open mic, which will start next month, is going to be an opportunity for people to kind of really get to know me, not just as an author, but as a poet, just doing me, just being live and reading a lot of reading some work from my book that's already out, but then also reading some work that I have not published, and just kind of getting raw feedback from my audience. So I'm looking forward to obviously having that advantage, and so people can understand, like, I didn't just come on this scene like yesterday. I've been here, right? But what I'm being so intentional about now, and with my author mindset, is saying, I've been here and you need to know who I am, right? So with everything else that's going on besides the virtual open mic, I have Tiffany Wrights. I'm a CEO of Tiffany Wrights, and we have different parts in it. The division of Tiffany Wrights, OYM Copywriting. That's why I offer my services and writing to authors and wellness professionals. Anybody that just needs to level up their copywriting, level up their marketing, wants to reach their audience. And then, author Tiffany Janae, Honestly Enticing Reads, which is the publishing imprint I publish under. And so Tiffany Wrights is just a multifaceted company, because I wanted a house and a foundation to build all the different things that I want to get into. And at some point, I want to get into mentoring young writers as well. So right now, the special that we have at at OYM Copywriting, is I am looking to work with some people who are ready right now to get these websites up to par. Some of you guys have websites out there, guys, and you have not done a website audit, and you want to know why they're not coming. Why they're not coming to click that link. There is no CTA there. There's no opt-in when they first come on the page. There are some things missing on that home page that truly is going to sell you personally, not just your product or your service, but you need to sell you first, right? They need to know why they need to work with you. And there's a formula in all of that, and I can help you with that. So website audits is the special that I'm offering until the 28th of next month. And it is a 30% off of the website audit packages that I have. And so, like I said, once we book a discovery call, you can go to my website at oymcopywriting.com. You can book a discovery call, and we can have a chat about which plan or package that you need, and you'll receive 30% off of that.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, look. So that comment is actually in the mainstream, And we're excited. I'm going to go back to the open mic night because I'm so excited. You know me. I love anytime we're going to get up and have a good time. We're going to speak words that's going to be inspiring. And so I'm excited. Have you done a shout out to potential other poets and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I have two right now. I have the authoress SWD, Stephanie White, who was on here not too long ago during her podcast, you know. I'll have her as well as Miss BJ Martin. And you guys see her on Mondays with Marissa, but she is also a phenomenal writer and songwriter and singer. So she might be coming on. She might be, with some words down, or she might be singing. So you don't know. So that's why you got to be there.
And I have to connect you with some other folks in my circle that I know would do well with coming on. So there's two people in particular that I want to connect you with. Lisa is one name, and Tanya is another name. And I want to connect you with those two women because I know that they've done poetry work. I have Tanya. Truth Freedom. I actually have her CD right here. She was featured in our magazine a while back. I want to connect you with her because she's already got obviously published work. And so she would be great open mic. And then Lisa, she does a lot of poetry and spoken word. So that would be really nice for your open mic night. I wish I was brave enough to go out there and drop some. I gotta get back in that. I used to write my brother when he was in the Navy. I used to write him all of these poems, and that's when you had that time, right? Right now it's a matter of when you are in creative mode, you just need quiet. You need to get into that place where you can just mellow the stuff off. But don't be surprised if I get there. Listen, I'm getting ready to get jet out of here and get settled in the DR. And once I'm over there and get a chance to get Utah, I may be joining you as open mic nights because that's fun, right? That helps us be. That helps us to be open-minded, right? That helps us to be open to something new, to be stretched, also to get rid of some, to increase creativity. But it also helps for you to de-stress too. Open mic is where you get stuff out. You get it out, let it. The karaoke, just doing the singing, dancing when we come on. That just helps you when you start moving. It's like. Those endorphins start all of that body starts moving, energy and the juices start flowing, and it just gets you to be more vibrant. And so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait, Tiffany. Owning has got your back. Be in the house.
Yes, I know. I love it. I love all of everything I have going on with Own It magazine, and so it's been a blessing, but definitely a blessing. So, like I said, I'm ready. I understand what you're saying about, like I said, just that going to the DR is definitely going to help you write something. Sometimes you just need a change of atmosphere. You just need a change of view. You get out there, you look at that nice water, and you're going to be like, okay, I want to write something. So I encourage you definitely to do that. Have a journal, just write something, and who knows, you might come on live and be like, I wrote this in the DR, and you'll know it's because you changed your view, changed your perspective, had a different mindset in order to get that out. So, and like I said, open mic is a safe space because as authors and as poets, we know, like, it's a safe space. No one's there to ridicule or critique anybody. This is what you birthed. This is what was in your mind. So there's no judgment, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah. And you have to create that environment, right? Because that eliminates limitations, right? When you don't feel like you're going to be criticized or critiqued or judged, it actually gives you, it increases your ability to just let your hair down. And so many people are so focus. So many people are in this fixed mindset, and a lot of people are not doing the real talk that's necessary to recognize. You may not have a total fixed mindset, but there's pockets in how you think and see things that you need to address, and you need to address them as they're happening. You need to come to a place of consciousness all through the day. Not to be over obsessive with it, but to balance it, so that we're not dismissing things that we should be addressing. And so I always do an assessment and an analysis of my behavior. And Robin be the first to tell you, and Tiffany, as you hang around long enough to be, I always check my behavior. I check my character, and I'll say, you know what, I did this, but you know what, in retrospect, analysis, or I do that reflective and introspective work, I say, this is an area where I really got to go back and apologize. Whether the person or the situation deserves an apology or not, that's not the point. The point is maintaining a sense of humbleness, and like Robin said, a sense of gratitude, value of the individual or value of the situation, and taking it, seizing the moment of an opportunity to grow from it. Even though we have a preset personality, doesn't mean that it's always right. Even though we have certain behaviors and responses, doesn't mean that it's right. The way that we grow and the way that we really maximize out of life is to become, we do the self-awareness work. Very aware of who we are. And we do the self-development work. Don't get fixated. Fixated means that you're there and that's it. You're not willing to grow anymore. That's when you become stifled, and that's when you become bitter, and different, angry, because you're not allowing yourself to change in these certain areas. Not saying change you, because we want you to be you, and that's what your space is. Open everything up to is the authenticity of the individual, the messaging of the individual being released. We have to have that release to be ourselves. Otherwise, we do get fixated. We do have a sense of hope. So, like I said, I am so excited about what you're doing this year. I'm so excited that you are open-minded to, when I sent out to the contributing writers the monthly topics and themes, and I began to explain why that was so important to do at the top of the year, because it starts your year off right. Now, the biggest thing about doing anything, you're not stuck in doing that. It's just a framework with which it can help you get started.
Help you get started.
Right. You could always go back in and change and adjust. But the thing is, you got to have a projection. You have to have something in line so that you'll know. So your expectations are, you have something to look forward. So your expectations are there. I know in January we're doing this, and now we're getting ready to go into the month of love, February. Right. So we're going to look at the leader's heart. We're going to look at having a heart filled with love, leader impact and connectivity, generosity, appreciation, gratitude and attitude, love of self and others, and forgiveness. And so in that month, we're going to look at, from leaders' perspective, how are they operating in both realms, in both their personal lives and in what they're doing at work. Because Robin and I, as IO practitioners, we understand the spillover effect. Right? Spills over into work, and work spills over into. And the one thing that is important is the awareness of the individual, the awareness of that individual, to know when that's happening in a positive way or when it's happening in a negative way, and to address it if it's negative, or to celebrate it when it's positive. And so, believe it or not, we are ready. We are at, it's 25 minutes. Can you believe it? And so, ladies, I talked a lot. I'm going to let you guys kind of wrap it up. Tiffany, you got any closing remarks? And then Robin, you close us out, because we going to jam. I'm going to put back on.
So my closing remarks is I just got finished. So yesterday I had a celebration of life My sister, my adopted sister, her dad passed away. And so I had a celebration of life yesterday, but you know, it was a celebration of life because this individual that we celebrated was always happy. You know, he just celebrated life. He was always dancing. He was always goofing around. And, you know, even though he was sick for the past 5 years and going through his struggle, you know, we knew that right now he's not suffering anymore. But what we took from his life, and I want to say to everybody because it's so fitting right now, is about mindset and how you do things, how you operate, right? And goes into the next month about the heart of the leader. When you are leading, or when you are a leader, or you are in a position of authority, and you have people that are looking up to you, and you're trying to teach them, right? It's important to let them know that this message, that it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Because it's very important that we addressing things. We do have to address a lot of things, and sometimes those things may be ugly, bad, or uncomfortable, but it's also in how you say it that the individual then shall receive it, right? If you say it in an ugly tone or manner or anything, then the message is not going to reach that person. They're not going to hear it. It's not going to sink in, and they will not obviously do what you want them to do. So sometimes, even as a parent, as a mother, you know, when I'm mothering my sons, it's about how I say it, not what I said. And so I have to make sure I let them know, like, hey, I try not to be this way, but I feel like I had to say this very firmly in order for you to get it. Or, you know, sometimes take a step back and realize in that moment that they don't need firmness, that they need just a little bit more kindness and love, and to, okay, you made a mistake, baby. It's okay. Because that's in life. We're going to make mistakes, and it's going to be okay. And we have to love one another, and we have to continue to just keep saying to one another that no matter what, I always love you.
Yeah.
To our family, to our friends, we love each other every day. Stay connected. Okay.
Yeah.
So remember, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's interesting that you say that, Tiffany, because that's the same thing I was going to talk about tone. It's all about the delivery. In order for people to be open-minded, they have to listen to one another. And if someone speaks to you in a tone that you do not like, you're automatically going to shut down. Most people shut down. I had a friend of mine call me yesterday. They had an encounter with a coworker. And it was something that was really minor, but the other coworker thought that he was actually being ugly to him. So when he came up, he was like, "What is your problem?" And the other guy said, "Well, I really don't have a problem." Well, yeah, you do. And so, but that ego in him came out, and he matched that negative tone, and they got into a big confrontation at their job. And when he called me, I told him, I said, "You have to stop and think. The incident occurred because of something that you did." I said, and if that had not occurred, you wouldn't have had that misunderstanding. So what you need to do is, even though his approach was wrong, you apologize. You have the choice, which is major. You have the choice in how you respond, which could de-escalate the whole thing and change the path in which you're going. I said all that to say, know your audience. Know your audience, whether it is your child, a supervisor, you know, your employee, whomever it is. If you know your audience and you kind of try to adapt to be able to handle that situation, and you keep that open mind, because again, you're trying to get feedback, you're trying to draw people in. You have to open up your heart, you have to open up your mind and your eyes. And if you don't work with everything, guess what? It's not going to work. You're always going to have problems. People ask me all the time, how in the world do you deal with people? I said, I've been in construction 20 years, over 20 years now. I said, I've had people this close in my face to where they're almost spitting when they're talking. They're not spitting at me, but because they're so heated and so passionate about things, sometimes it occurs. And I have to, you know, in my face, you know, stand back. But I still listen to them and I let them vent. But I don't take it personally. If you take it personally, you won't be able to handle it. That's why I do so well with my arbitration hearings and with being a director of labor relations. When you're handling those union contracts, when you're dealing with collective bargaining, you can't worry about that. It's not personal.
It's not.
It is not personal. So whenever you're dealing with these kind of things, even with supervisors, employees, children, a lot of times some of this stuff isn't even personal. That person is having a bad day.
Yep.
And you just happen to do something at the time and it triggered it. So you have to try to be the bigger person and say, hey, you know, sorry that happened. Just like you apologize and you didn't even do anything wrong. Per se. Sometimes it's that you've done nothing. But it will break that, you know, it will de-escalate that situation so quickly. And some people come back and they apologize for their actions. So we have to keep all that. But again, when you start looking at it from a leadership perspective, there you go again with that's the difference between your great leader and your managers.
Yep. Your visionary leaders and your ones who are just managing. So you have leaders who manage, or you have leaders who have a vision and speak into the life of their people, and also take into consideration the individual visions of their people. And so, well, ladies, this is the last topic. This is the last month. This is the first month of the year. The last Friday of the month. We done already finished January. This is moving, people. Moving. This year is moving fast. It's moving fast. Especially, Tiffany, I'm looking at you, especially when you have an agenda, honey. When you have an agenda, these days go by quick. Why? Because you got something else to do. You got something else. You're living. You're maximizing your potential. And so we're so excited. Next month, like we said, issue. It's all about love, loving self, loving those that God has called you to lead. And so we're excited. I can't wait to, because I love.
Yes.
And hope is romantic. I love it. And I am looking forward to all of our discussions coming up. And we will be live all the way through. I leave on the 28th, and I can't wait. I'm already packing. Barrels are here. Snappy, outy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you for stopping by. These are all things leadership and organizational development with myself and Robin. And we just had on the show our contributing writer. I believe you're going to be writing for the R. Hughes and Associate magazine as well.
Yes, she is.
Yes,
I am.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm excited.
Already ready.
Yeah, beautiful things are happening. Go out there. Let the folks know to do their analysis, analytics on their website. Connect with you there. And then connect with you. If they're writers, they need to connect with you. If there are any persons that have a need for content, they need to be in contact with you. And so anyway, ladies, let's kind of out. You want to jam out?
I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want.